Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of PhotoBiz Live. This is Danny from the PhotoBiz team, and today we're going to be joined by Blair Phillips for a webinar that he has titled Limited Edition Maximum Profits. So I'm really excited for today's webinar. Blair's put together a great presentation for everybody, and he's got some information right there on the screen that you can see, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that hashtag right there in the middle in just a moment. But talking a little bit about Blair, if you guys have not had the opportunity to see Blair speak or actually attend any of his webinars, you're in for an absolute treat today. Blair is awesome. I've had the opportunity to work with him multiple times in person. His personality is great. He's got so many awesome things to teach you guys. He's also an international award-winning high school senior and wedding photographer based out of North Carolina, just like PhotoBiz. His unique lighting, eclectic locations, and elegant posing have helped Blair grow his business from absolutely nothing to 500-plus studio sessions and 30 weddings per year. Blair teaches regularly at WPPI, which is coming up right around the corner, Sync Seniors, and various PPA affiliations, as well as hosts his own workshops quarterly at his studio near Charlotte. And I believe you're going to be hosting those in some other locations soon, right, Blair?
Yeah, man, we're actually branching out this year, and we're going to actually take it on the road, and we're doing one out in Missouri and out in California. So yeah, we decided, you know what, there's a demand for it other places, and it's much harder for that many people to get to our studio. So we said, why don't we just pack it up and see what happens? So yeah, it'll be an interesting year, see what happens.
Well, I know that you're going to be successful wherever you take that workshop. And just to drop my little 2 cents on that, guys, for everybody attending, I see we've got so many different attendees from multiple places across the world actually here in today's webinar. So I'm excited to see so many different people logged into today's webinar. So if you guys do have the opportunity to check out Blair's workshops, you definitely should take him up on it. It's a great workshop, and I know everybody will get something out of it and love it. So we're going to go ahead and get things started in just a moment. I just wanted to point out a couple other things. So if at any point during today's webinar anybody has any difficulty hearing Blair or seeing his slides that are up on the screen, just use the comment box to let us know, and that will actually send a message directly over to me, and I'll be able to help you out with that. So again, this is a webinar that you guys will just be tuning into audio-wise, and we're going to save that Q&A to the end of the webinar. So you'll use that chat tool to send a question over, and I'll be reading those back to Blair. If we don't have an opportunity to get to all the questions, definitely just try and use the hashtag on Twitter and send out a tweet, or I'm sure Blair will probably be okay if you guys tweet at him as well. So be sure to tune in and follow Blair on the multiple avenues of social media as well to stay up to date with him. So Blair, I am going ahead and let you get started on everything.
Sounds good, my man. Well, thanks again to PhotoBiz. I was just talking with Danny before we went live here, and I just told him that, I feel like our industry is, I've only been in the business about 10 years, but I feel like instead of everybody moving forward, a lot of times we get all caught up and we feel like we're just hanging on. There's a lot of people out there that I even know that are, they're just a month or two away from going out of business just because the business is not there, and there's so many people entering the market. It's making it a little bit tougher year after year. And one of the things that's really helped me over the years is just not to focus on all the negative energy that's around you, and don't get caught up in your neighbor and worry about what they're doing and worrying about what the people down the road are doing. Just focus on you, man, and don't get all caught up in all the negativity going around, and focus on you and your family, your health, and the rest of it will all come together. And that's exactly what this program that I've got put together for you guys today is. This is basically like a vitamin shot for your business. It's January, February, March. That's normally our slower times of the year, and these are little vitamin shots that we're going to show you how to add to your business that will really pump a lot of money into your studio for really just a very minute amount of work. As Danny said, I shoot 20 to 30 weddings a year, but man, I started shooting a lot of these limited edition things, and man, I'm trying to add some more things like this into my workflow, so that hopefully I'll just be able to X out of doing weddings altogether. But one of the things I want to say is definitely thank you to PhotoBiz for putting this together, because as a photographer, I need tools like this myself. So, I look forward to each and every time they have a webinar. I stay in touch with them because I learn a lot of these from the other guest speakers that come in too. So I know it's tough for you guys to sit behind your computer right now because you have other things to do, but I promise you, the next little bit of time, This will be very vital for your business, and if you choose to participate in something like this, it'll do wonders for it. So limited editions. I'll explain exactly what they are, and the first thing I want to do is just why we do them. Why in the world would you do a limited edition series in your studio? First of all, what is a limited edition? And we'll cover that in a little bit too. It's just basically where I pick one Saturday. We normally do 4 or 5 of these a year. I'll pick one Saturday, and then this right here is everything that will unfold. So a limited edition series is basically one Saturday. I book tons of appointments, and it's like shooting fish in a barrel. But I'll get into that in a little bit. But why would you want to shoot limited editions? Number one is because they are super, super easy to photograph. It is so, so simple. You build a very unique set that you normally don't have up year-round. You use the same set, the same lighting, and you don't change anything. I set this up at 8 o'clock in the morning, normally 7:30 in the morning, set it up, test shoot it, got my lighting set, and I don't adjust the lighting. I don't do anything the rest of the day. And another reason to do it is because what I'm going to show you some numbers here, some real hardcore numbers, and great profit for one day of work. One day, you're done, and you're going to make a ton of profit here. Another reason that we do them is to raise brand awareness. There's a lot of folks in our area. We're a high-end studio, but we do a lot of high volume. But a lot of people think in this town, just because you have a certain level of success or you have a really nice studio, they say, oh, well, Blair Phillips Photography, I heard it's like $28 million to get your picture made there. Well, I have that persona in town because I try to do as good as I can, but in a small area where people are very one-minded, unfortunately that comes with the territory. So we do these limited editions as a way to bring people in that normally wouldn't come. So who would come? That's what I'm saying. It helps us attract new clients that normally would never give us a chance. There's people that say, well, they're probably just too expensive. I probably can't afford them. So for this one day, we lower the prices a little bit. We have these preset collections that I'll go into, and it helps us get new clients that would never give us a chance any otherwise. And it helps those new clients kind of get used to our style and our service. Because if I can get them in the door, they're going to see what I'm going to do for them and the experience I'm going to give them. They're going to see that, oh, okay, now I get it. I completely understand what this photography studio is all about. So I'm giving them a small taste of what we normally do so that I can hook them into coming back. And also, just the biggest thing is that great, unique experience for those existing customers too. For people that come year after year for regular sessions, this is just like a little way to say, hey, we're going to have this, one Saturday. It's this limited edition series, and we wanted to give you first dibs at it and, see if you guys wanted to do it. So they appreciate it. It's just a never-ending circle. Now, you got to be really careful, though, of when to do them. When should you do limited edition series? Again, we only do 3 to 4 per year, and we normally only do 1 per season. And we always base them around a holiday. Because if you do way too many of them, they may keep your regular clients from coming to regular sessions. So in other words, a regular family that's going to come in and spend a lot of money on a family portrait, they may say, well, wait a minute, Blair Phillips Photography, they started doing these things like every month where the prices are lower, and I can just run in and only have a 10-minute session, but I can still get what I need, and it'll cost me, a fraction of the price. So be really careful and don't do too many of them. When you get too many of them, you saturate it, and it's like photography businesses in this area. There's way too many of them. There's too many to choose from, so the excitement kind of goes away, and you lose your art of it. Now, one thing, let me throw this in there. If you're going to do a limited edition, it's really, really key that you design a set, and you get a test subject, and you photograph it just the way you're going to do it the day of, and you're going to use that for your marketing piece. So on all of your social media, throughout everything you're going to do, you're just going to keep hammering it through social media, but you can't explain, hey, we're doing this limited edition series with, we're going to have this trunk with these lemons, and they're going to have tutus, and it's a cool backdrop. People are so much harder these days to visually please. We have to have something immediate, something gratifying that we can look at. So you have to shoot this, a month or 2 before you're going to market it, so that people can visually see what it's going to look like. And when they see it, that's what's going to hook them, and that's what's going to have them wanting it. Now, so that's when you do them. Now, how in the world do you go about pricing this stuff, and how in the world do you go about making sure that your profit margin is going to be where you're going to want it? Because one of the worst things you want to do is book up 20, 30 appointments in a day, and you do all this work, and you make that cardinal mistake of posting everything online and hoping that they're going to order something. Well, let me just tell you, that is definitely not what you want to do. I've got a bulletproof way here that I'm going to show you that in a matter of just several hours there in the studio on a Saturday, you're going to be at a minimum profit of like between $4,000 and $5,000. And guys, I live in a very, very, very depressed community. People here don't have a lot of money, including myself. We're not made of money either. So we're looking to reach out to clients, in the $150 to $200 range that they're going to prepay, and then they're going to actually order more because they're going to love what we're doing. They're going to love the experience we're providing. So the key for all this in your pricing is very simple, and this is just what we do. You can charge more or less or whatever you feel like kind of suits you. But our average session is 10 to 15 minutes. Normally about 10 minutes I can knock out what I need to, because again, I'm not going for a huge variety. I'm shooting for this one particular shot, and I'd like to have a couple of bonuses in there to kind of upsell. So we do $25 sessions, and I'm going to book 25 of these things in one day. So 25 sessions in a day. Every 10 minutes, $25. That's not too bad, man. So if you look at just the session fees alone, you're at $625, and you really haven't had to do anything except, obviously charge the session fees. But this is the trick right here. They have to prepay a $150 minimum order before their session. So when they're calling you guys on the phone and they're saying, hey, I'm interested in this limited edition you have, I want to book my appointment. We say, okay, it's a $25 session fee, and we're going to go ahead and collect $150, which is what you're going to prepay. It's a minimum order before your session. So at the time they book, we say we need your 25 session fee and the $150 prepay. All right, one of two things is going to happen here. First of all, they're going to say, you're crazy. There's no way I'm going to prepay. I don't even know what these pictures are going to look like. All right, well, if you get a bunch of people like that, those are the people you want to let them go. Not trying to be mean, but when that phone hangs up, someone else will call, and they'll say, okay, that's great, no problem, here's my credit card. Those are the clients that we're trying to get to. And I'm not saying, that we're being judgmental, but someone that's not willing to invest $150 in it, they're probably not my target market. So we say, listen, out of that $150, it's going to go straight to your account as a credit. And this is another way right here. It's so easy. What we're doing, check out the math here. $150 times 25 sessions. So that's 330. I get so excited I can't even talk. You guys see that? $3,750 plus $625 for your session fees. You're at $4,375, and that's just at a minimum. That's a minimum. Now, everyone is going to buy a lot more than $150. Every client that comes in, they buy way more than $150. They think they can get out for $150, which they could, but they love the images so much because we've created such hype about them that they've got to buy more of them. And they're really cute pictures, too. They're not normally something that you would get on a normal basis. Now, here's another trick. This is where all of your back-end work is going to make it so easy. You've had those clients that will come in and waste a bunch of your time, and they say, all right, well, just post them online, and I'll order them later. All right, well, we all know that that's not going to continue to work. It's the bubblegum theory. People put the bubblegum in, they love it, it's sweet, it's great. After about 30 minutes, they kick it out, and it's no good anymore. They don't want it. They're going to do the same thing with your images if they don't have anything invested up front. Another thing to think about, this was really hard for me to do, but I let these people know that, it's a $150 minimum order, and there's no cancellation. There's no cancellation at all. If you should cancel for any reason, unfortunately, we don't give you any of your money back, and there's no credit. Now, we say that in a very nice way, but we don't tell them, well, because, if you don't show up, then, we've lost money. We could put someone in your time slot. I've learned a long time ago, state your policy and shut your mouth. Don't go into all these details of why and why, because then that gives them another opportunity to talk you out of it. Because if you have 4 people not show up, And then they think, well, I can just get a credit or I get my money back. Well, then why did I stay here those extra times when I could have been at home, or I could have put someone in that spot? But the way to be profitable with a limited edition is with your PhotoBiz store. All right, we post everybody's images in the PhotoBiz store, and we provide them with a gift card. So whenever they come in, they've already paid the $150 prepay. We give them a gift card number that's assigned to their name, and they go online and they order what they want to. And they've already spent $150, so that's money spent is money forgotten. So they get to this website and they pick out $150 worth. Well, they've already spent that, so they don't even think about it. So then they end up buying a lot more. And then we process all the orders. They come to the studio, pick it up. Everything is awesome. None of this would be possible, nor would it be profitable if we didn't use our PhotoBiz store. If we allowed 25 clients to come into the studio for an order appointment, that would take like 17 days. So therefore, my profit margin is completely gone out the window. Now, let's talk a little bit more about your pricing. And I'm going to share some of the pricing that I do with you guys. And remember, my pricing may not reflect exactly what you want. Maybe you want to charge a lot more than what I'm doing. But let's look at these products they want for the a la carte here. These are the a la carte prices. Now, we do have some packages that we've put together. Of course, those packages are discounted just for this one day because they know that it's a limited edition deal. So we discount the prices pretty tremendously because let's face it, guys, an 8x10 you can see here, we got $30. All right, we normally charge a good bit more for it than that. But an 8x10 from my lab, it's not costing me $30, obviously. We all know what we're paying for an 8x10 from our lab. We're making a pretty good profit there. Now, inside of there, we're pushing all these other products while they're here as well. When they're up front, we've got all this product out in their face so that they can see it. We're talking about prints, frames. We're talking about this jewelry. I'm showing them all this stuff because if I don't show it, there's no way they're going to buy it. So I have to hook them while they're here, to wanting a necklace, to wanting a garden flag, to wanting to buy, a ring or a night light or whatever. I have to show them all this stuff while they're here. So pricing yourself for profit, you figure out what you want to do. But it's funny, we had one of these, it was a 15-minute session actually, and they spent over $1,000 from a 15-minute session. Now, not every client is doing that, but I wanted to share with you guys, we did have one client this past year that spent over $1,000. And I would say on average, most of these folks are coming in, on average, probably in the 400 range. So if I could sell $400 to 25 different clients and just put their kid in one spot, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, man, I'll do that. I would do that all day long. So most of your clients guarantee would spend well over $150. Well over $150. So just follow me here a little bit longer. We'll open it up for a lot of questions here at the end. But again, we're doing this 4 times a year in our business. And on average, man, we're probably between the $7,000–8,000 mark for just a simple Saturday's worth of work, and it's 95% profit. So how in the world do you shoot this kind of stuff? I'm going to show you actually a lighting diagram that'll get you through it. Break it down super, super, super simple that you never even have to adjust your lighting at all day long. So take a look here. On the right-hand side, my main softbox, I got a 4x6. The left one over here, I'm using a 14-inch by 42-inch strip light. Always my 4x6 reflector. This to the camera left. And you can see how far I keep these lights away from each other. Now, my light that's in the back left, that's my kicker light. I'm going to have the output of that light a good bit stronger than I will my main light, the one that's in front, because I want to create a ratio. I don't want even lighting. Even lighting is the work of evil. You never want even lighting. Get away from even lighting at all possible. So that's a simple 3-light setup that we use. And actually, we'll have a little bit of a hair light sometimes. That's where the 3rd light comes in. But most of the time, we're getting it done with just 2 lights. We don't even use a background light because the light that's coming from my kicker, it's enough to light up the background as well. And we use that reflector. The reflector is key. Just that small bit of reflection back in. That is very, very key. And guys, listen, same setup all day long. Same setup all day. I'm not moving anything except just taking the kids in and out, in and out, in and out. We've got a really easy way that we keep up with everything. All of our marketing stuff that we do, we've got it all laid out. It's so easy. When we want to start a new marketing campaign, we can use the same material. We just drag and drop. We've got it all designed as a PSD so that you can drag our stuff out, put your stuff in it, put your pricing in it. You could literally start one of these things tomorrow if you wanted to. So what do we use for these things? We gear them towards. I've found that we gear a lot of them towards little girls, but a lot of times what we do is we have a boy and a girl set. So if we want to market it, for one thing we can, but I don't want to leave anybody out. So we normally have a boy set and a girl set. There's a lot of tutus, obviously. A lot of tutus, a lot of little things that are designed that that we can buy that they don't cost us much money at all. But we get a lot, if not all of our stuff from Design Revolutions. Definitely go check Julie out. She's by far she's got the best stuff in the market. You get what you pay for. You can maybe find some stuff cheaper on Etsy or places like that, but it's just not built the same way that her stuff is. High quality. I've been using some of the same stuff for like 4 years. I use it every single day, so definitely check her stuff out there. And also, the Sylvie background, she actually sells a lot of backgrounds too, and I'm a big supporter of things that I use, and this is one of our best sellers, definitely one of our favorites, and she's got, like I said, great prices and tons of options. Now let's open this up and talk about some of our other limited edition series, because we don't just rely on just the one that you saw there. What if you have a family that you'd love to get together, they'd love to get together for their family pictures, but it's just kind of hard because the dad works all the time. He doesn't like coming to get pictures made because it normally takes like 2 hours. It's so aggravating. No one's into it. But if you can open up a Saturday and explain to them, hey, dude, this will take 10 minutes. I'll get your family picture in and out, get it knocked out. You'll get what you need. Dad, you're good to go. It's so easy. And we're going to create a really cool experience for you. This is one of our best sellers right here, and it's field day. Very simply, we just drag an old couch and some luggage or whatever you want to out in the field, and I bring my additive lighting with me, and we just pose families like all day, 10 minutes after one another here, and it is working seamlessly. It's our best seller, and again, we're doing another one too. We've got this one coming up actually in about 2 weeks, and it is sold out the day that we posted it. So we've actually opened up a whole nother day. We've opened up Sunday, and we're on the verge of booking that one too. So we're looking at like 50 appointments. I'm not going to have to go to work for like 2 weeks if I didn't want to, man. I'm so excited about the profit return here. And what we do is we partnered with a lady here in town that she has she's got her own little bunny ranch, if you will, and not that kind of bunny ranch, but she raises all these animals and bottle feeds them, and I can call her, and for a full day, I think it's like $120, and she'll bring me like 3 of these huge tamed rabbits, 2 lambs that are tamed. They're just like subdued, man. It's almost like she gave them Benadryl or something, because they will sit there all day long because they're already acclimated to her kids. They'll sit there all day, and I am loving it. And give you a word of advice here. I'm not a real big fan of using the little live ducks or the little baby chicks, because they absolutely will poop everywhere, all over that brand new little Easter dress. Yeah, you ruin it by having some poop on it. And these guys, I've found this isn't inhumane. I've already checked, but if you don't feed them the night before, then they won't poop anywhere, and life is good. That may sound inhumane, but the lady that has them advised me that that's perfectly fine to do. We feed them a little bit throughout the day, and we keep them interested in carrots, stuff like that. So these are just 2 examples, man, of how you can jam out on a Saturday and make a ton of profit and not even have to think about it. These are some of ours that we do here in the studio. This is the one that we just did the other day. We did this actually about 2 weeks ago, and I don't want to alienate anyone. So for the sugar and spice, we had a boy set right on the other side. It was like a bunch of baseball stuff, like old-timey baseball stuff, and I had the little outfits for them. So we didn't alienate anybody. But this is Sugar and Spice, where we'll go and buy some stuff, bring it into the studio. I think this whole set right here, we probably had about $70 in it. And when you're done with it, you can turn it into other things. Use it for other facets of your business. And there's my little test subject. That's my little girl. I use her all the time for little things like this because as a parent, you guys know, they don't do very well with us, but they'll tolerate us photographing them for maybe 5 minutes, which is about all that this takes. Another one here, Vintage Vanity, a little romper. We had a little sewing machine in there, a red chair, some buttons, a little headband. and it's just something that the kids enjoy. We make a cool experience out of it. Here's another one, Santa's Toy Shop, his little workshop. You know, I build a background and I throw some little toys in there, and we shoot this stuff like a month before, and we throw it out there through social media, and then it just piles on and piles on. So now I have people calling me saying, hey, Blair, when are you going to do your next limited edition, man? Because, you know, I'm really excited about it. So while these people are here, it gives them an opportunity to see my studio. It allows me to kind of show off some of the stuff that I do, some of the other stuff that I can offer for a full session. And I always let them know while they're here, you know, hey, I appreciate you coming for this limited edition session. You know, this is just a short and sweet thing. So let's make sure that we guys have you back in at some point to go through the full Monty and do the full session like we normally do with all these different sets, all these different variety of things that we have. You know, it's really, really easy. And, man, if you're not doing limited editions, I would definitely encourage you to do it. And one of the things, before we open up the questions here, one of the things that I want to do is we said, you know what, let's just do a little webinar exclusive for everybody today. And write this code down. It's PhotoBiz Rocks. PhotoBiz Rocks. And you're going to go to, if you're interested, go to BlairPhillipsWorkshops.com. That's our workshops page. We got all kinds of stuff on there, man. That's very, very beneficial. And it's all stuff that we've used in our business for years, and things that actually work. So it's not just a gimmick, you know, to sell you a bunch of crap that doesn't work or whatever. This is like one of the cheapest things you can buy for your business too. I think this thing, we're basically giving it to you here because you're going to go in, if you're interested, this is our whole limited edition market right here. Tons of ideas on here. You can drag and drop. Like I said, it's all PDFs. So all your marketing material is in here. And we go very in-depth on how we do everything from start to finish. Super, super simple. If you're looking for something that you can drag and drop and basically create your own marketing within about 5 minutes and be up and running, we're going to allow you guys a $20 off coupon here. And if you'll enter that PhotoBiz Rocks, go to BlairPhillipsWorkshops.com. That's our store site. Go on there and check it out. You can click on it and read a little bit more about it. But we're going to give you guys $20 off if you're interested in it. And, you know, like I said, this thing is super cheap as it is. I don't even know. I may as well just give it to you at this point. But, again, I'm not here to sell you a bunch of stuff. This is just the one product that ties in here. And we just about sell out of this thing every time we do something because people love the idea of the limited edition. So I'm really excited to get to some of your questions, and I think we'll pull Danny back on and let's talk through and any questions that you have. If we can't get to you guys, because obviously, you know, we're kind of limited here, you can also go to Blair Phillips Photography on Facebook. So go to Blair Phillips Photography, our Facebook page. We answer hundreds of questions on there a week, man. And, you know, once you're locked in there, we want to help each and every one of you guys with anything that we can. We're very giving people. We don't look for anything in return. We just want to make this place, you know, make the photography industry a better place. And we want to be there for the PhotoBiz customers to show appreciation for PhotoBiz, from PhotoBiz to you guys. So, you know, that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys for limited edition. So I think let's bring Danny back on and let's answer some questions here, man.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Blair. I definitely took a lot of notes just in general myself here, so I'm sure everyone else is just putting their pencil and pen down. And I do have a bunch of questions. So first question, I'm just going to work my way from top to bottom, guys. And the first question that I had here came in, and it was from Tanya regarding just touch base on the lights you were using during the setup again.
Yeah, for sure. But the type of lights that I use a photogenic 1250 DR. I use those with a 4x6 softbox for my main light, and then a 14 by 42 inch strip light as my kicker light in the back. But guys, you can do this with Alien Bees, you can do it with photogenics, you can do it with Westcotts, you can any type of lighting you've got, you can use, as long as you create a ratio, meaning that you want your back light to be stronger than your front light. That way you're going to create some separation, you know, on your subject from the background. So any type of lights will work, any type. So what else you got, Danny? I'm going to kind of roll through these kind of quick because I want to try and answer as many of these as we can.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just going to try and keep the topics clumped together as well. So,
sure.
Yeah, Peter asks, do you duplicate the lighting setup you showed in all the studio's settings?
Do I duplicate it? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's a foolproof, and when you're working with kids, you know, you can't worry too much about them. If they turn their head just a little bit, they're going to get too much shadow or whatever. So that's why I keep the lighting pretty simple. It's not the most dramatic lighting that you'll ever see in your entire life, but it's safe. So yeah, I duplicate that same lighting for every limited edition that I do. That way it's very easy and it's very safe. So I'm wanting to go for a good, safe lighting.
All right. And next question from Jennifer. Do you market to specific age groups for each limited edition session?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always market to, we throw it out there and we show, the image of a target market that we're looking for. So like my daughter was 19 months at the time whenever I shot that last image. So we're going to show that set. And normally I don't have to worry about, someone bringing their 15-year-old daughter because, it's just not very fitting. But we do tell them over the phone, hey, we want to know how old your child is. And if the child is like a 1-week-old baby or something, I'll still do it. But most of the time, we're seeing in these limited editions, they're anywhere from 6 months to probably 5-6 years old. So let them know on the phone the target market that you're looking for that particular set. But normally, if you show it, that's what's so good about doing a mock-up. If you mock it up and shoot what you're selling, you'll get the right market back, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. All right. This is a great question from Daniel. If you don't have a studio but you can rent one, is it feasible to rent props? And this is a great question just because of, everything you do with your studio and your prop sets you make, Blair.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's a good question there. If you can rent a studio, you have enough resources that you don't even realize. If you look for something, I guarantee you there's enough people in your community, enough people in your family that you can just borrow some random stuff that they have without having to invest a lot of money. I use a lot of old suitcases, old trunks, old chairs, old rugs, anything that I can find to make a unique set out of. I'm cheap, man, when it comes to set design and set building. I build some of the coolest props that I've ever seen in the industry, and I do it all on a shoestring budget. So yeah, man, I would encourage you, rent a studio and don't go hog wild with buying a bunch of stuff, man. You can normally scrape up enough stuff, that you can even find on the side of the road to build something really intriguing out of. So you're just looking for little design elements to put in there, to stack up, to break it up so it's not just a flat background.
All right, and Daniel, just my advice on that, check out our YouTube channel on PhotoBiz. When you look up PhotoBiz on YouTube, Blair did a previous webinar on DIY sets building as well, so there's a lot of great knowledge on that webinar he did last year, so you can check that out. All right, so let's go in, and some other questions that came in were about the collection of the money, and I think your concept was pretty easy, Blair, to understand. Just to clarify it, Cassie and Brenda asked similar questions. Are you collecting the money up front? And I guess when is the session fee collected? So pretty much very similar questions.
Yeah, for sure. We always, we try our best. On rare occasions, we'll have people that will not prepay the $150 until the day of. That's on a very rare occasion. Because, if you don't collect the money and you wait until they get here, if they have nothing invested, there's a good chance they may not show up. If something else happens and, their husband can't get here, they got something else popped up, a birthday party, they're going to be like, well, we'll just catch the next one. So when they call to book their session, that's when the folks here on the phone will say, okay, listen, there's very limited number of spots here. And even if there's, 10 spots available and you haven't booked any of them, just tell them, hey, look, we're booking up really fast. We only have a few of these things left. So if you want to secure one, this is how we do it. It's a $25 session fee, and it's a $150 minimum order. So what credit card would you like to secure that on? And then just shut up. Don't say, this is why we do it, this is it. Just tell them that you're going to collect the money, and what type of credit card would you like to secure that on? And then just be quiet. So yes, it's very important to collect it up front. And if they're not ready to do that, they may not be your target client. It may take a while for you to get up the gumption and the nerve to ask for that money up front, but you wouldn't go shoot a wedding with no money in hand, so it's the same thing. So train yourself to do it, man. That way, when I book these things up, I'm like, okay, cool. I know I can make anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 today. I know I've already made that much, and I haven't even shot anything yet, so I'm guaranteed.
That's That's a great answer. All right, and so now we have multiple questions from multiple attendees about the marketing of the limited edition. And obviously, I think that if you guys check out what you've got, there on the screen there, you got a bunch of great strategies included in there, I'm sure. Just, we had people wondering what have you guys found to be really the best way to market this, and where should they get started?
It's a good question, man. It's 100% split down the middle. We have 100% of it comes from Facebook, and 100% of it comes from word of mouth. What we'll do, guys, is we'll put together like a nice little post that's short and sweet, and we will hammer that thing on Facebook. We'll post it like 2 and 3, 4 times a day, because I want it to become so saturated that when someone logs into Facebook while they're at work, when they're not supposed to, that they're going to see Blair Phillips Photography Limited Edition, 3 Saturdays from now. We keep posting it. I mean, it's there, so why not keep putting it in their face? And why be afraid to post it several times a day if you need to? So we post it, and post it some more. And that's really it, man. We don't do mailers and all that stuff. From our existing clients, we tell them to tell their friends, and we use a constant contact type thing where we'll send an e-blast out to our existing clients. But I would say 90% of it comes from Facebook. People that's never even been here, but they see that for this one day, they can take advantage of this exclusive offer where the prices are reduced, and all of a sudden now they're ready to rock on. So that's how we do it, man, through Facebook.
All right. And we've also got some more questions that have came in here, Blair. They just keep piling in. So I'm trying to get to everybody. Simple question about shooting. This question came in from Francis. Are you shooting on a tripod? How are you shooting these?
Yeah, Francis, good question there. A tripod is not something that is my friend. I like to move around way too much. So when I'm shooting, I've got a little table that I put right beside where I'm shooting that I can just set my camera right down on when I'm adjusting the hair or doing whatever, and I'll walk right back over there, pick up my camera, shoot. When I'm done, I set it right back down. I find with a tripod, it just it limits me to a certain angle without having to pick it up and move it. So I'm kind of moving all around the place, up, down, side to side, to try and get different perspectives. So for me personally, I don't, but I try to shoot at a shutter speed of at least 200th of a second. That way, if the kids are moving and jumping all around, it'll stop a lot of that from being blurry. So yeah, no tripod for me, unfortunately.
All right. Next question from Misty. Are you literally scheduling session times every 15 minutes apart, or is there X amount of time between each session?
Yeah, no, that's funny, man. It's literally every 15 minutes. Now, in certain cases, I may have a child that just blanks out and freaks out, and it's going to throw my schedule off for the rest of the day by a few minutes. But there's going to be people that are going to show up late. There's going to be people that are going to show up early. So, if people have to wait 5 or 10 minutes, it's not going to kill them. And if I spaced it out and left like a 15-minute break in between, I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to be here, I'm just going to be stressed all day. I don't care. I want to maximize on my opportunity. So yes, literally every 15 minutes there is a new person walking through the door. Every single 15 minutes. So it does get stressful, but again, I'm trying to maximize my profit, and I can deal with with a day of stress for that kind of return. So good question.
All right, and this is from Joan. How do you deal with multiple children? The challenge is, it seems, of getting the perfect shot in 15 minutes is much more when there's just more than one kiddo.
Yeah, and it's funny you should say that, John, because I find, truthfully, it's a little better for me. The opportunity is better to sit them down before the new wears off and just knock out those couple of really key shots while I have their attention. So, I had one prime example. I had one come in a while back that they had 3 kids. One kid screamed and cried the whole entire time. Well, I was able to get one shot where they weren't crying. But the parents knew when they came in, I explained to them, hey, there may be a chance that all 3 of them, it's going to be really hard to get all 3 of them just perfect. You probably already know that because they're your kids. So I make a joke about it. And by the end of that 15 minutes, she saw how hard I was trying. She did see that we got one image, and that was when I pitched and I said, listen, these are going to be great. There's a few in there that are going to be really good. She doesn't have a smile, but it's better than her crying the whole time. And you have to remember, this is limited edition, so the prices, we've reduced them. This is just a really good way to get them primed and ready for when you come back for a full session. And I've never had an issue with it, to where someone was just really upset with the job that we have done, because the parents are right there. They see what we're doing, and I'm not going to deliver them something that's just horrible. Now, if a child comes in screaming, crying, they're sick, they're blowing snot everywhere, I'm not the kind of guy to just say, well, I'm sorry, that's the best we could do. I will offer them to come back at a later date, throughout the week. But most of the time, man, with 3 kids, you put them in there, you do something really crazy right off the beginning, and you can normally get what you need. And if you have those trouble clients, those kids that just aren't going to do it, then you offer them to come back at a later date, or I would just give them their money back. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm not going to charge people for something that that we try to do and their kids just wouldn't cooperate. So good question there again. What's another one, Danny?
All right. This comes from Johnny. How far in advance do you start advertising?
Johnny, we will start advertising. We don't want to go too early because we don't want people to forget about it. So we will start advertising generally about a month before. 3-4 weeks is really sufficient time. It depends on your client base too. If you have a large client base, it may take a shorter amount, or vice versa. So you don't want to start too early, but you want to give yourselves enough time to shoot it so that you can use those images for your marketing. So yeah, about a month ahead of time.
All right, and this question is from Kathleen. She says, I just started marketing a limited edition session. It's my first time, and so far I have no bookings. So I've been Facebooking daily and emailing past clients. What advice do you have to really drum up interest if the normal avenues are not working for me? So anything out of the box you can?
The biggest thing I would ask her, I don't know if she can answer this right quick, is did you shoot the images live so that you have those exact images to market with? That would be something that hopefully she can type that up in the queue as I keep going here.
She did say yes, Blair.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I know another guy that did this, and he had a tough time with it as well. I don't know how your prices are structured, but maybe your first one that you do, just so that you can get a good feel for it, maybe you do it to where you're not really going to make a huge profit off of everything. Maybe you reach out to your friends and, you have them bring their kids in that, maybe you're not really making a lot of profit, but even if you could book like 5 or 6 just to get a feel for it, and then you'll have a lot more images to, to show. So yeah, man, it's kind of tough. It depends on the following you have, but I know people that, they've had a tough time with it starting out, and, all I could tell you, sweetie, is just to keep trying. That's all I can tell you. I wish there was a magic answer for you, and that's the same thing that a lot of us photographers face right now. It's just trying to get people in the door. But yeah, just keep giving it a chance, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, also how you approach the social media, Kathleen, if you want to shoot me a message, we have a social media service we offer here, and I manage that. So I think Blair does a great job, him and his employees, of their social media. So maybe we can bounce some ideas off each other and see what you did, and maybe I can throw in some advice. Because this whole webinar today, like you said, Blair, it may not work for everybody, but I could see this working for so many of the people attending here today that are leaving us great comments about how they're going to use this information. So let's jump into another question we have here. So just about the images you're producing, Blair, how many are you actually generally shooting, and more so, I guess, just producing for the client that they're reviewing to,
Yeah, good question there too. I don't want to overwhelm the client, and I want them to understand that this is a limited edition, that they're not going to get 45 images to choose from. I'm normally shooting, if I can get 12, 15 images, as a finished product, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Again, I don't want them choosing from 40, because if I shoot 40, I'm way overshooting. So, I would say any 12, 15 images, somewhere around in there. That's kind of my go-to. And that, I can knock that out in, 3 or 4 minutes. So hopefully that'll help you out a little bit.
Oh, all right. Well, let's grab a couple more before we close things up, Blair. All right. Actually, Blair, we do have. Now this is the 4th person I've had that people are asking if they could contact y'all for some marketing advice. And I know that your workshop has a lot of the material on it. Maybe also to get directed into what material would be best for them. what's the best way for people to get a hold of you? Is it through email or
Yeah, email
social
or
media?
Facebook, man. I mean, Facebook is probably our biggest avenue, just because there's four of us here that share equal amounts of knowledge, that are always on it. So Facebook is probably the best way to reach us, and we have a workshops page, and we have a Blair Phillips Photography page. So one of those two is probably the best and the most secure, because emails, man, we get like everybody, we get hundreds of emails a day that come in, and it's kind of hard to scan through every single one of them. But Facebook is so simple, man. But we would love to reach out to anybody that needs some help. I mean, that's why we do this stuff, and we can definitely help you with some marketing ideas that we've had, or anything that we can add value to help you kind of get a jump start. We're definitely all about that. And again, like I was saying, in this webinar exclusive here, this saving the $20 off of this limited edition marketing strategies DVD. I mean, that thing is like ultra cheap. So that's a very, very good way right there. Like I said, within an hour of having this DVD here, man, or this disc, you can put together all your own marketing here in no time. It's already pre-designed for you and everything.
All right, and like I can also throw my opinion into Blair. You guys are great on Facebook, so definitely take advantage of that, guys. Him and his team are more than glad to help you all out. So the last question I'm going to take in here today was just from Mike Conrad. Mike said, during the family limited editions, do you just photograph the family, or do you do the individual breakdowns as well? And then are they getting, generally looking at smaller print in their orders, or do you see them ordering larger prints?
Yeah, man, that's twofold. Most of the time, man, I'm trying to shoot for just that family image, because then they're not going to want to. If I appease them and get them some really cool images of their children individually, the family, the mom and dad, and then the dad's like, well, hey, I need a new headshot for my business. I've really appeased all their needs. So when it says, it's field day, it's for family portraits, I just kind of try and stick to my guns, man, make it all about that family experience. Because, if I do each individual one, then they're not going to come back for a regular session, if that makes sense. So stick with your guns, man, and that way you can hopefully cash in and get them to come back to you at a later date for a regular session.
All right, and thank you, Blair, for the presentation today, and thank you for all the
man.
attendees. If we didn't have a chance to get to your question, like we said, just go ahead and you can hop on Blair's Workshop Facebook page, find them online. Their team is great at responding to any questions that you guys would have. So, yeah, thank you again, Blair, and thank you for all the different attendees that joined in with us today. We are going to go ahead and wrap things up, but definitely be sure to join us for our next webinar. You can learn about our other webinars by visiting PhotoBiz.com and checking out our blog. We've got all of the schedule and sign-up area posted there for you. So thank you again, Blair, and this is going to conclude our episode of PhotoBiz Live. Have a great day, everybody.